Alright, it's Sunday. It's gonna be another hot one. I don't know if I want to suck Bondo dust today, so maybe I'll do something else. One thing I need to do is clean off my workbench. The boy and mama's been up here, and I've been up here, and I got a big mess, so I need to tidy. I need to tidy up before I get into something else. I think I might do a little welding on the running boards. Look at there. I found most of my workbench. Alright, now that I've done that, let me dig out what I'm fixing to work on. And here's what I'm going to work on. The running board. Some of you have been watching the videos a long time. You might recall that way back when I had this truck all mocked up and all in one piece, I figured out I had to narrow up the running boards to make them fit this frame and fit the truck properly. So I narrowed that one and welded it. But the other side, I narrowed it and tacked it together, but I never did weld it. So I think what I'm going to do today is weld it. You know what? Am I missing something there? I don't know. I better investigate. Oh yeah. See there? I had to extend that. I never got those pieces ready. I guess I'll have to duplicate that. It'd be good to get this truck back together instead of having these parts scattered all over. You know, but I did do some other cool projects. You gotta admit that. This is the one that's got me a little nervous. Figuring out all that wiring. Some people say just put it all in a box and be done, but I kind of hate to do that. But then again, I might screw it up and it might not ever run again. I'll put an LS motor in it. Another thing is, these running boards take a really weird shoulder bolt. It's square on top. It's kind of like your traditional carriage bolt top, but it has a big shoulder, and then it bears on that portion down there. I don't know where to get those. I suppose I could make some, maybe. Anyways, let me quit jabbering and get to welding. But before I quit jabbering, I forget that most of you haven't seen these old videos probably. I sandblasted and primed that running board when I was 14. That was 31 years ago. You do the math. Alright, here's what I'm going to use. I'm going to use that Cobra torch. Oxygen acetylene, excuse me while I burp a little bit under my breath. Got a dolly here. Done got rusty. The humidity of the south. Some homemade ones, a high crown hammer, low crown hammer, which those two I'm probably not going to use too much. I am going to use that, and I'm going to use rebar tie wire for filler rod, because I pick that stuff up all the time at work and it works good, and it's free, and free is for me since I don't have any sponsors. By the way, I was looking on Instagram a while ago. I do that from time to time. I keep seeing these trucks and stuff. It says, looking for sponsors. You know, I'm looking for a sponsor too. I put new LED lights in. Had to buy them. I got a Miller welder over there. Had to buy it. Had to buy all this stuff. Had to buy that torch, Cobra torch, which is a great torch, by the way. But I'm not sponsored. I love this thing. Takes some practice, but once you get after it, you can do it. You can do it. One sponsor I do need is I need a new AC unit in my garage. You know, this one's kind of getting wore out. The other one already crashed. You know, I'm just kidding. I can buy this stuff myself. It's alright. Who dat? Alright. I think I welded this thing upside down the last time, because what you got to do is weld a little bit, stop, take your dolly and hammer the weld back out a little bit, because when you weld it, it shrinks and you want to hammer that back so everything stays nice and straight. But if you were to hammer it from the top side, you can't do it too good because of that rounded feature right there, which lends rigidity to the structure. Listen to me talking like an engineer. So that's what I'm going to get started doing. I was talking about not being sponsored. I am sorta. These folks have sent me 2 of these testers. I'm going to do a video on this one. This one will do all kinds of stuff. I think on the newer GM vehicles, it has a steering wheel sensor. It tells you what position the steering wheel's in. It'll diagnose that and do a bunch of other stuff. I appreciate those folks sending me that. But my trouble is, all I got is a bunch of old stuff mostly. And it don't hook up to that. But I'll make a video about that later. Alright, I still ain't started welding yet. But I have done some more preparation. I got me 2 old... that's not proper English. I went out back and got 2 old rims to prop this thing up on, and I hammered that weld out a little bit so it lay more flat. And I hammered that weld out. Works better if it's hot, but it'll work alright cold too. And I cleaned up my dolly, changed it a little bit, give it a little more rounded edge right there so it wouldn't booger up my shape there. That's a homemade dolly. That's a part of a screed of paver. It's not the. I was going to say screed. It's not the screed. It's the bars that and chains that pull the asphalt to the back from the hopper. But nobody cares about that, right? And I don't need that for this project. But it's there anyway. See there, the torch is lit, and I've been welding. I'll weld about 1 inch. And then hammer it, and then weld about 1 inch more. And I let it cool every once in a while just so things don't get too hot, you know. I figured out if I put some weight on here, it kept it from bouncing around so bad when I was hammering on it. That's why I did that. And there is the back side of the weld. I could have done a little better job hammering right there, couldn't I? I need to grind that little nub off is my problem where I burnt through. And I need to grind that little nub off. Torch still lit. I modified my plan here just a little bit. I figured out that when I was hammering the weld with this hammer, which is a high crown hammer, I was hitting right there in that curve, which was boogering up my nice curve. So I had to get this thing out and round it back out. So I dug around and I found this cheap Chinese hammer and put a little bit of a crown on it, and I found that I can hammer in there more accurately without hitting that curve. I guess I'm getting clumsy in my old age, but hey, it's turned out okay. It's a little bit of a slow process, but you know, Rome wasn't built in a day. Oh, I must have bumped the little knob. That's what. Oh, done it again. Here we are. We're 3/4 of the way through. I stopped about halfway and went and got something to eat because I was hungry. You know, I'm kind of a big boy. And you gotta feed the beast. Alright, the torch is off. That's because I'm done welding. Well, at least that weld. I gotta cut some pieces right there and make it just like I did on the other one. But you can see that this is curled up some. And I believe that is because as I'm welding, the heat is tightening that radius. So what I've been doing is, what have I been doing? I've been doing this. I've been sticking that in there and hammering it about there, which rolls it back. So I'm going to do that now and then cut some pieces for this. Alright, it didn't take very much and that thing's back on the same constant plane. Well, pretty much.
Maybe I better hammer it just a little bit more. But I'm going to grind this now. This is the back side of the welds. Take very minimal grinding and just try to smooth it up a little bit more, and then I'll make these pieces. Now, here's one thing. I do enjoy reading all y'all's comments you put, so please comment. Now, I try not to address the negative comments that I get because, well, it just seems like it brings more. But now, some of y'all said I am a hoarder, and I am not a hoarder. Okay? So let me get back to what I was doing. I dug up this piece of metal here that I had cut out from here when I narrowed this like 3 years ago, and made a piece to patch that right there. And then the rest of it I'll use, and you need to make a little piece for right there. So this thing will be using the original sheet metal that Mr. Ford gave it way back when. Alright, I hate to do it, but I gotta do it. I'm gonna quit for the day. I got that thing done. Looking pretty good, huh? Not bad for amateur. I'm gonna have to retire one of my favorite shirts. It's full of holes, wore out, and I need some rags. So, without further ado, let me ring the bell. I completed something, finished the project. Not on the same day because I started it like 3 years ago, but I did finish it. So there's that. Alright, I'm going to go in the house where it's cooler now. Don't forget to go to MrHeavyChevy.com where you can get a bumper sticker just like that and put it on your car, guaranteed to, well, it won't make it no faster, but it'll be a conversation starter probably. So for you shy folks, get you a sticker. It'll help you start conversations.